Hey friends, it's me, Kim, coming to you with a public service announcement surrounding your tatas. Me and this lovely pile of laundry on my bed no, the pile of laundry didn't, but it's me and the pile of laundry here. I had a follow-up diagnostic mammogram and ultrasound today. And everything's normal as of now, so nobody freak out, including myself. But it got me to thinking about how, like, my whole journey with mammograms, and that at every turn since I've been going through this most recent round of screenings, I've been talking to other women, my peers, and women older than me that have just like squelched my fear because they're like, oh my God, yeah, I dealt with that too when I was around your age. Oh, yeah, this is totally common. Oh, yeah, this happens all the time. And I think I was under the misconception that I was just going to go in and get, annual mammograms and they weren't going to find anything. Excuse me. And if they did find something, that was cause for concern. So, in the spirit of bringing our private conversations out into the wild and sharing what happens to us as women during all stages of our life, I thought it might be a good time to just lay it all out there for all of you, from my very first mammogram all the what I am finding as I speak to other women, like I said, my age and older, is very common, be expected, because I did share early on that having or getting cancer or getting breast cancer is an irrational fear that I have. Not that it's irrational to be fearful of getting cancer, but that it lives in me in kind of a larger way. So there's a lot of like mental gymnastics that goes on for me, especially in the past. I guess it's been just about coming up on a year in August that I've been having to be screened more regularly. So I am going to put my glasses on because I'm going to be reading, and you can see the reflection of my laptop like hardcore in my glasses, which I don't like, but it is what it is. So I went to an OB in 2018. I think I only saw this OB like once or twice. And I was, I guess, how old was I in 2018? That's an important question. I was 37. So he recommended that I get a baseline mammogram at that point. So I did it. And it was just so apparently whenever you are getting regular mammograms, it's not so much about what they see in the initial image, but it's about comparing from year to year. So he said, if we do the baseline now, then when you start them yearly when you're 40, you'll already have a baseline. And then it won't be comparing from 40 on. They'll have something to compare it to. So I did it in 2018, got my baseline. Everything looked normal then. Then when I was 40, in November of 2021, that was my first, like, I'm going to have annual screenings now. They compared it to the prior one that was available. Didn't find anything significant. But they did know that I have heterogeneously dense breasts. This is something that a lot of women hear. Apparently, all of our breasts are dense. I'm also not a doctor, but it also seems like maybe something that they qualify to remove liability. So, and let me just say right now, I'm going to insert some thoughts that aren't necessarily opinions throughout this minisode. It's sort of a, I don't know if I believe this or not, but this is just what swims around in my head. So if I say anything that might be triggering to you, if you have dealt with breast cancer yourself or with another woman in your family, please know these are just my thoughts. I am not saying what's right for anyone else. I'm not saying what people should or shouldn't do, but I think it's important that I be transparent. So I know I'm not a doctor, but it did occur to me as I'm talking to other women and they're like, yeah, me too, dense breast tissue. Yeah, me too. I'm like, oh, so maybe that's just something that if they miss something, they can be like, oh, well, yeah, I did say here that she had dense breast tissue specifically, and that may obscure small masses. Okay, so that was March of 2024. No, November 2021. Then there's a big gap in my mammograms, which I did not realize I had. Thought I was going more regularly than this. So another thing to note is like maybe put it in your calendar or get a really good GP like I have now that like just has the hospital start calling me at regular intervals so that I schedule it. March 2024, going again. So I don't know why that's November 21, 22, 23. This is like damn near 2.5 years I went before I went and had another one. Compared to the prior available, same situation. Just says dense breast tissue, no significant changes. I should get another one in a year. So then I went back in August of 2025. So again, a little over a year. Not mad at myself about that one. I feel like I got in there quick enough. This is just a screening mammogram because there's a screening and a diagnostic. So far, this is my 4th screening diagnostic in August of 2025. This one determined that I was developing some asymmetry in the lower region and the posterior depth of the right breast. So they recommended that I go in for a follow-up mammogram and then possible ultrasound. And this was just a screening that I got at like one of those like travel around mammogram trucks. So, like I said, my wonderful GP, Dr. Jenny, she was on it. She got those ordered, got it scheduled. And in September of 2025, I went in and they did a second mammogram. And the woman who did my diagnostic mammogram at the actual hospital breast screening, like women's health area, said that the woman that had done my initial screening mammogram had gone further back and seen a portion of my breast that hadn't really been visible in the other screenings. So that was good. They did end up doing an ultrasound too. So this confirmed asymmetry in the right breast. And it says it's probably a benign island of heterogeneous fibroglandular tissue. And then they recommended a 6-month follow-up for another diagnostic mammogram and ultrasound again. And then this is all just like in my chart, but my doctor is also like sending me messages essentially saying the same thing in more layman's terms and also like asking if I have any questions or, you know, offering to schedule a consult or a phone call or something if I need to talk to her about it anymore. So here it says the findings. Right diagnostic mammogram confirms lobulated asymmetry in the inferior posterior right breast. Best demonstrated in the MLO coned compression view. It's similar to March 2024, and it might be slightly more prominent than 2021. And it wasn't in the field of view in 2018. But yeah, at that point, it was determined to be probably benign and see me again in 6 months. And that takes us to today. I went in again this morning. They did the mammogram. They did the ultrasound. It appears to look the same. So I haven't gotten like the full results yet, but from what the ultrasound tech told me after talking with the radiologist, again, benign island of heterogeneous fibroglandular tissue. And that's great news. So good. I'm happy. I do go in another 6 months. So August of 2026, which will be pretty much a year since all this started. And they want to do another diagnostic mammogram. And then after that, as long as it looks like nothing has changed, I'll go back to just like my yearly screenings. I can name at least 5 women right now. I won't, because it's not my business to share their personal, health information. But I can name at least 5 women that have been through damn near this exact same situation. And at this point, there is zero indication that there is any cancer living inside my tatas. So my misconception that I would just get these annual screenings, and that if there was ever like any point of concern, that would just mean I had breast cancer was off the mark. For me personally, specifically because, I don't think about it every day or anything, but I carry around this larger than necessary fear of having breast cancer. It is very important for me to get these mammograms. There's a lot of talk about shifting women to, preventative and annual MRIs instead of mammograms. There's some research that says that that's better. My doctors talked to me a little bit about that. But right now, what my insurance covers is just a mammogram annually. And then, of course, if they order more, then the insurance covers that as well. I think I pay some. I don't know. I'm not good at talking insurance. Let me just tell y'all a little bit about what my mind does in the few days leading up to these rescreenings, in the morning when I'm driving there, when I'm in the office, until I get that, yep, everything looks the same. You're fine. For now. I'm gonna stop having screen on my face. I want to cultivate and manifest and live in this like healing, positive, assume everything is going to be okay energy. And I give that a lot of weight. I can find myself going down negative lines of thought and very quickly recenter, recalibrate, switch directions, because I don't want to unnecessarily cultivate and manifest negative energy, because I think that's real And I think it has a negative impact in small and large ways and across the board. When I am driving to these appointments, when I'm getting the reminder texts in the days leading up to it, when I'm getting online and doing my, check-in, the places my head takes me, there is no amount of positive energy that can pivot me. I am spiraling. I am writing a whole future narrative about what would happen with my body, what would happen to my kids, what would happen with my marriage. Would I make it? Would I lose my breasts? Would I lose my hair? How am I going to work? Fucking, what if I fucking die? Like, and some may think that's silly. That's okay. I mean, I don't do it on purpose. I believe me, if I could not do it, I wouldn't. And it's, speaks to what I was saying earlier. Like, I just feel like I'm giving it fuel. Like, and I don't want to like be a narcissist. Like I know I'm a speck of dust on a speck of dust, and I know I don't like manifest the universe and control the tides and it just in my mental energy. But there is merit to like healing yourself and keeping yourself healed with your thoughts. And I will say one of the things that can help me pivot and one of the things that is a comfort is when I think about those 5 women that have been through this same thing, and I hear time after time, this is just a part of the process. This is just a part of aging. And that this is what it might look like for anyone who listens to this that's not in their 40s yet. I want to take this opportunity to say it's probably fine. And if it's not fine, you're probably doing exactly what you're supposed to be doing to catch it in a timely manner. And I want to be an open book for that reason, because I don't want, if even just like one person hears this and it causes them to feel a little more at ease or a little more comfortable when they're on their way to their follow-up diagnostics or ultrasound, then I'm doing what this is supposed to be doing. Now, there's also the whole other side part of like all of like the exposure to radiation. And then what if I have to get a biopsy, and then the piercing of that area and what that can cause, and what should I be having MRIs, not mammograms? And is that even more radiation or less? And I mean, that's a whole other can of worms, a whole other brain spiral that's like, I don't know, it's like coaxials, the brain spiral of the imaginary future that I'm trying to account for. And then also, should I keep putting myself in front of this radioactive device? Anyway, that's my journey with mammograms so far. In 6 months, I'll go for another diagnostic, and I'll be happy to share whatever those results are with all of you as well. And If anybody else wants to come on the podcast and talk about their experience with this part of the aging process of women, maybe their own experience with breast cancer, I think those would be some good conversations to have on here. So definitely DM me on Instagram. And that's what I'm going to leave you with today. So far, the tatas are all good. I hope you'll have a wonderful day. Thank you for listening.